Podcast, WATP.
Stuttering John had his final broadcast. It's no longer the Stuttering John Podcast. It's the John Melendez Show. It's classy. It's different. It's better than it ever has been. And I have never done a final show for any of my podcasts that I can remember. I think they're all still going.
The P-Pod?
Okay, yeah, P-Pod. Yeah, that one I did. Good point. So I don't know what I would do for a final episode, but I know I'd bring a little bit more energy than this.
Hey, everybody. How are you? Well, it's my last show. That's about it. Gonna have some guests on today.
Wow.
That's the stuff.
Wow, what a run it's been, huh? Well, guys, it's the last WATP. I don't know what else to tell you. Guess we'll play some clips or something.
Isn't this like his third farewell show?
At least.
Yeah, I mean, he makes up these weird rules where he goes, all right, I'm all done December 31st. And then he comes back on because he had the Kate Meany thing. I can't remember what that was. It was such a nothing. Him and Rob Saul tried to play these what was it? Kate Meany was talking to someone. I don't remember. Anyway, there's some recordings. And then John had to do his show because Rob Saul got too wasted and nodded off during his show. So John had to do it. But then for whatever reason, John announced he's doing one more regular episode with a special guest on March 1st. And he's doing 2 political shows. And then that's it. And so he did the Richard Roper one before the Academy Awards. And then he did a political show with Richard and Brian. And then he did this show. Richard couldn't make it, but Brian was there and Ava came on. And he's like, all right, that's it. It's like,
finish strong.
Yeah, like what was the point of any of this? Like why? The political show was supposed to be so that Trump didn't get reelected. That was why he started doing it.
Mission accomplished.
Now I don't know what the point of it is at all. Although Anthony has his theories that we'll get into in just a minute. But first, let's count the lies. All right, everyone count to themselves the lies in this.
Had a wonderful day yesterday. I took the boat out for a little while, cruising, then took the motorcycles out to Bokeela and looked at the clear blue, beautiful water. And then I met a female friend of mine, if you will, and we had a nice time. And it was the perfect day, actually. It was the perfect day. And
Opie was saying the lip smacking might be a lie towel.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, and then it's like he's making up in real time. And then I met up with a female friend, if you will. What?
And this is all why I had to do the show today.
He had a perfect day. He was out on the boat. We know he doesn't own a boat. He came out and said he doesn't own a boat. We know that.
Then he said he drove multiple motorcycles.
Then he went on the boat. Yes. He rode around on the boat just to come back, get his motorcycle, and drive back to the water and look at it. You've already looked
Still
at the
beautiful.
Yeah. You already looked at the water. You're on a boat.
I got to see this water from the other direction.
Then he spent time with a lady friend. Doing what? What do you mean?
A so-called lady friend.
I'm guessing she's the bartender at Stevie Tomatoes.
If you want to know the truth.
Yeah, right. It's one of those kind of things. So I don't believe any of that. Then John's talking about the movies that were up for Best Picture, the Academy Awards.
I saw 7 of the 10 nominated films because I am a film dude. And I enjoyed just about every one.
Remember, if there's one takeaway about Stuttering John, he is a film dude.
Yeah.
You can't forget that. He went to school for film. He thinks Citizen Kane sucks. But he liked all of the movies that were nominated.
He jacked off to Amelia Perez
Best
multiple
Picture.
times.
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure. This is a fun clip I put together because, he's got that scroll going on the bottom that says, I will not be reading any super chats related to the Dabbleverse.
Well, he didn't put it there. Management
Put it there. Correct. Yeah. So, he's got a big team over there at the John Melendez show. So a super chat comes up from Tony and John goes, I'm not reading that shit. Or is he?
Again, I'm not reading any Dabbleverse related super chat, Tony. So I'm not going to put that up, but that's bullshit.
A few moments later.
All righty. Thank you, Clay. You've been another loyal friend of mine, and I appreciate it. Tony, ever ready? Yeah, that's bullshit. That's called a deflection. That's just a distraction, a deflection.
He totally forgot that's the exact super chat he said he wasn't going to read. And then he popped it up on the screen. And it's about him knowing about ESO. Because John claims that he has a mole inside Uncle Rico's show, the Shuley Network. And people are speculating that it was ESO that was the mole. And so John knew about the arrest before anyone else knew about the arrest. And he was the one keeping it under wraps. And he didn't want that super chat coming up on the screen. But he's an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he couldn't stop himself from putting it up there. And actually, this drop right here, I might want to make a note of this one. This one can be used quite often.
I don't know what's real and what's not real.
Correct. That is the problem for sure.
So that excuses me from everything.
Yes, exactly. So John starts off this episode. He's waiting for Avariza there, and he doesn't know what to do. It's his final show. He doesn't know what to talk about. So he goes through his Twitter DMs and starts reading every name of people that he DM'd to be on the show. That's his list of past guests. And this goes on for quite some time. And finally, John, 22 minutes in, decides, oh, where's my phone?
Okay, I can't keep doing it. And all right, let me just get my phone, and then we'll get the show on the road.
All right, so I sped this up.
My phone.
This is 6x speed. This is how long he's gone for looking for his phone. With nothing else going on.
All right.
All right.
All righty.
God.
So now let me bring on. Whoa, my guitar, and there goes my. Well, you wouldn't have a great Stuttering John show without shit falling all over the place. So here we go.
I thought it was,
Shatter's phone.
I thought it was the John Melendez show, not the Stuttering John. I guess a little throwback for all the OGs who are watching the show. That's not the only thing that goes wrong on this episode. Also, Brian Karam, his guest, comes on
Enough
and
said.
doesn't know that he's on the show.
So here is the great Brian Karam. Hey, Brian. 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 Brian.
Yell louder,
This is
John.
going well.
Yell more.
Brian.
He'll hear you eventually. Yell more.
Brian.
Yes. Question for
Wave.
him.
He's definitely looking at you, John. Wave some more, you idiot.
Brian.
The fuck is he doing?
Brian. He can't hear me.
No.
Lewis! Lewis!
Yeah.
Lewis! Lewis! Mom! Mom! Mom!
I just love the fact that John thinks if he's jumping up and down and waving his arms, then Brian's going to see him. It's just like, no, he's obviously not looking at that screen. He wouldn't know.
Oh, John.
Just like, yeah, I see you, John. What's up, man? What do you want?
What the fuck?
So John is very good with tech problems, as you know, and he's going to help Brian through this.
All right, do you hear me now? I can't hear you. Can't hear you. I can't hear you, Brian. Can't hear you. Hey, you get it sorted out. I'm going to go put the AC on.
It's your show.
You sort it out.
You sort it out. I'm going to turn the AC on. He just gets up and leaves. He's always got shit to do. It's one episode, the last episode ever.
You wouldn't want it any other way, though, right? This is
great.
the perfect ending.
I love it. So he comes back and he's going to help Brian fix this all up.
Brian, you hear me? I can't hear you. Go back out and come back in. Go
hear
out and come
this.
back in. Ava, I'm sorry. I'm running late. It's my last show. So I will get to it. Ava, I'm sorry. But if you want to come back after, I just want to talk to Brian and then I'll bring you back, okay?
A few moments later.
Brian, my man. Still can't hear you. What the fuck? You chose to mute yourself. You got to unmute yourself, Brian.
Yell at him, John. He can't hear you. Yell louder.
Siri, call Brian Karam. This is wonderful. This has to be the best last show ever.
It's up there. It's certainly up there. It's better than the Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Oh, there'll be better last shows.
It's hilarious to me. So whatever Brian is talking into is not engaged in the software or on his computer. And John's solution is, well, just leave and come back and maybe it'll fix itself. Why? Why would that fix anything? That's his tech solution. And of course that didn't work. So then Brian Karam talks a bunch of nonsense and he has his trans woman guest, Ava, who's been on the show before. And John does this to show what an amazing liberal he is to be speaking with someone from the LGBTQ community. And of course, he immediately needs to get Ava on his side and how horrible people have been to him.
Like I just had people showing up at my door. Oh, I meant to send you the anti-trans stuff that someone posted on my door. I'm not going to mention the name, Baby Fat. So anyway, it was an anti-trans and I don't know. I'm sure you experience this on a daily basis, but I do as well. The anti-trans stuff I get is just disturbing and pathetic and hateful and usually from anonymous people and people who post it on my door and run away like the child that they are.
What he's referring to, of course, is Chad Zumock leaving a note talking about the fact that John's son has a pussy, which is true. I don't know if you can call that anti-trans. I think it's just a factual statement that when John calls everyone a pussy boy, he's actually referring to his oldest.
If anything, it's pro-pussy.
Right. If anything. I love that John's just like, yeah, you get anti-trans stuff, Ava? I mean, I get it in spades. You can't even believe. She's like, yeah, but yeah, okay. I guess you're a victim. So he has to find other ways to be a victim. I'd never heard of this one before.
I'm Puerto Rican. We've gotten plenty of hate. We've got plenty. Oh, I was called spick plenty of times in high school, you know, and I was called wetback, although they didn't understand that was a different term for a different group of people. But I mean,
what group of people?
The wetbacks.
You know those gross wetbacks that are everywhere? You know. So John is just always a victim. And when he has someone on that he can like be like, by the way, I don't know, I'm sure you've had it tough, but I was called spick. What?
Before we get into your plights.
Right. I mean, this is a man who was almost 60 talking about how he was called spick in high school. Who gives a shit? I'm sure that was his friends because no one sees him as a Puerto Rican guy.
Yeah, I think he's mispronouncing Skip.
Right.
We
know you were called names because of your stutter. You idiot.
It was also dyslexic.
in high school, people used to say that I lived in the basement of Taco Bell. And I said, I'm Puerto Rican, not Mexican, you dumb fuck.
No, I think they meant you smell like a fart. That's actually a pretty funny joke.
Oh, okay, well.
That makes sense then. I didn't realize. No one thinks Taco Bell is Mexican.
Or has a basement.
Right. None of that makes any sense. Okay. So Abba is answering a question that John asked about being misgendered. And of course, John has to interrupt Abba to talk about this racist chat that just came in.
I don't care if they misgender me, and it'll come in time by being around me. And I think that there's this organic thing that happens because it takes time for people to get used to that.
Abba, racist alert. Tsunami Webster, Denmark are happy because all white, no illegals. Oh, there you go.
I'm Pakistani, and the second most, 13% of people from Denmark are Pakistani as well, which was kind of trippy for me. But I'm sorry about your.
First of all, they're not all white in Denmark.
So John was saying earlier how Denmark is like the happiest people. So he has to cut off Avo to read it's because they're all white. They're not, 13% are not Pakistani. That's also not true, but okay. Whatever. So I'm glad that John cut her off in order to say that. And this clip is perfect because John's trying to say something he can't say, which is probably a bad idea for a mush brain, wet brain stutterer to do.
What's the saying? Po nobody's nerfect.
Yeah.
Oh,
Po nobody's nerfect. What's the saying? It's not that.
Neither of those things.
Po nobody. What's that thing that people say when they're saying stuff wrong? I mean, that is wrong. I'll give you that.
That's why Ensols have erasers.
Po pencils. All right. We have to address what John tried to do to Anthony Cumia. Anthony brought this up on his show.
So John was, he's angry at that. So, of course, he's got to shit on me and what I'm doing and take to social media and try to get me thrown off by putting the names and links and contacts to my bosses and my company and everything, telling what an awful person I am. Yeah, John did this. John did that.
What a piece of shit. He'll never learn. He's still trying to get other grown adults in trouble and get their jobs taken away from them. If he'd been successful at this, if he had gotten Anthony fired, what would that have done for John? Would his podcast suddenly take off, or he would get hired by WABC to do a show on there, a political show? What is he thinking with this shit?
I often think of the bucket of crabs, but there's another analogy, and that's like being in a lifeboat with John. He would sink it.
Yes.
It's like, you guys might survive, but you know what? I got cirrhosis, so fuck all of us.
Yep.
It's just like, now your career is as good as mine.
Yeah.
Because it's going nowhere.
And Anthony's taking this in stride, but I'd be livid. I mean, I was pretty upset when John tried to take down my Patreon. People remember my reaction to that. I wasn't thrilled about it. Anthony obviously knows that John's not going to get him fired.
Thank God my bosses don't give a flying fuck, especially for the likes of Stuttering John Melendez's opinion on my show. So he's just, what a fucking asshole. To do that, to really try to get me fired. You know, we've called him asshole. We've talked about his dabbling in stand-up comedy and his lack of ability to write anything funny. His digital panhandling, where he'll go on and all he cares about is super chats. And then when he doesn't get something and someone else does, his initial response is, well, let me try to fuck him over out of his job, which he did.
So I'm sure John can justify this somehow with his mental gymnastics in his mind. But isn't that like John's biggest thing is like, don't get people's gigs canceled? Isn't that what he has had meltdown after meltdown about with his whole stand-up career coming to an end because people were getting his gigs canceled? And
well, they did it to me, so it's all right if I do it to them.
Anthony never got John's gigs canceled. I've never gotten John's gigs canceled. We preach just the opposite as Anthony does here.
Do we try to get his gigs canceled? Of course not. Why would we want to ruin future material for us and Uncle Rico and who are these podcasts? Why would we want to say, hey, let's get his gig canceled? We want that gig to happen.
Correct.
We want to be able to listen to how unbelievably untalented this piece of shit is going up on a stand-up comedy stage and doing jokes that are literally 30 years old.
Correct.
March 28th, 29th in Niles, Ohio.
Yes, we're actually having a lot of fun with that. And so John is just a literal piece of garbage. He's a garbage human. trying to get
Trying to call Anthony's boss's dad.
I know that's gonna be the next thing. Do you know who your son just hired to work for him?
Why are you calling me?
it's so shameful. You should be embarrassed.
Who are these podcasts?